Hi, I'm Ashley and I love horses. I'm a lifelong horse owner and spent over 10 years working professionally in the horse industry. Guys, honestly, this felt like a heavy week to be a horse owner in many ways. Um, Here, the weather, you can see the sky behind me. It's been like this for like a week plus. It's been raining a lot, it's been cold. So that's not been the best. And then, like just a week and a half ago, was doing some work around the pasture and twisted my ankle. And fortunately, I can still walk and everything, but it's like most horse people, I don't want to rest. I want to be doing things. There's been some I've been worrying too much about the future and the uncertainties, thinking about all the worst case scenarios that could happen. There was some bad news in the horse world this week that just kind of makes all of us think a little bit more about the security and safety of our horses. And then we had vet day earlier this week, which everything went well. There was nothing really bad, but it was just a reminder that my guys are getting older. There's some more things to manage, more things to think about, more things to try, keeping them, happy and healthy as long as we can. So I was thinking about kind of, the difficult parts of horse ownership. And it's not something that I really want to talk about, but when I started this channel, I wanted to be realistic about the difficult parts and that it's not just sunshine and rainbows all the time. Then I also started to think about all the bad parts and I started to write them out. And every time I wrote something, right away I thought of, but this is the bright side of that. But what about this part? So I thought I would share that with you today. The number one thing I think is the hardest part for a lot of horse owners or people who are wanting to get into horses is the cost. Horses cost a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to maintain them. Whether you have your own place or not, it's going to cost a significant amount of money. So that can be a big barrier to entry for a lot of people. I think that there's a lot of discussion right now in the horse industry about how to make it easier for newcomers to get in, how to make it more affordable for people who just want to recreational ride and have time with horses. And so I hope that there are a lot of people who are moving in that direction where they're able. Okay, why? And then, though, on the other hand, as I was thinking about it, I mean, every hobby costs money. Everything you want to do costs money. Unless you are you enjoy running and walking outside in all weather and you don't care if you have fancy shoes, everything is going to cost money and everything is a trade-off. And I think basically, everybody in the horse industry, that especially anybody who does it without generating income, we are doing it because we love it and we're sacrificing in areas, right? We are not spending money on something else or time on something else. We're taking time away from our families or our friends or other things we could be doing. But it would be the same if we like to fix up cars, if we like to travel, if we like to do dance. Everything has a trade-off. So it's just whether you can make horses work for you at this time in your life. And if you can't do it now, that's not to say you'll never do it or you'll never have a chance. I hope that there's more development in the industry to make more opportunities for beginners and people who are in the more middle class, honestly. Also, I would encourage you that keep track of your finances, and if you need to make changes, make them earlier. Make them before you have to make the decision of selling your horse or last minute trying to find an emergency place to go because you can't afford your stable anymore. If you need to part lease out your horse or full lease out your horse so you can keep ownership but have some sort of revenue being generated, do that sooner than later before you get into those bad spots. Or if you need to move to a lower cost boarding facility, do it sooner. This is hard. Let's be smart about it so we never are put in between a rock and a hard place as much as possible. Number 2 on my list would be illness, injury, and age. With animals, the only way to prevent illness or injury is to not have them, right? And the only way that you're going to prevent them aging is if you are constantly selling the old ones and getting young ones. And, you know, a lot of people have different opinions about that. I get attached to my animals, so I don't typically ever sell them. But that means walking with them as they get further and further on in their life and caring for them until you find that you're personally ready to not do so anymore. And each person's level for that is different, but it really is the not fun part of any animals. But when the alternative is no animals, I mean, also like your house is going to fall apart someday and your friends are going to get old and your family, like, does that mean that we never do anything or get close to anybody or allow ourselves to love anybody or anything because it'll go away eventually? No, life is about feeling and about the beginnings and the ends. And I think that it's heartbreaking, but it also makes it a lot more rich, right? I'm gonna cry. So that, other than the constant money worries, that's the hardest part about horse ownership. I think on that same note is my third one, which is the emotional burden. The always thinking, am I doing enough? Am I doing everything that I can do to keep my animals in the best way? Like, am I feeding them the right things? Am I giving them the right supplements? Am I using my tack in the best way? Are they feeling pain from this thing? Am I asking too much, not enough? All the things. And I think that that just means that you care, right? If you didn't care, you would never think about that stuff. If you were treating them just like an ATV or a side by side or a motorcycle, you wouldn't care about all that stuff. And so I think anybody who is thinking of all those things, me, all my horse friends, we're all always thinking of those things. That probably means that we are doing enough because we are mindful of our horses. We're trying to do the best thing for them. And I guess it's probably a lot like parenting, only your kids eventually grow up and horses are just like toddlers all the time for 20 years. I think anybody who's trying to be good at their job, who's trying to be a good caregiver for their children, their siblings, their aging parents, we think about all those things. We put a lot of thought in because we care. So I think a lot of us, not just me, we can get very hard on ourselves. And I think if you're trying to be the best you can be, then and worrying about if you're doing enough, you probably are doing enough. Number 4 on my list is security concerns. Every barn, every farm I've worked at has had things stolen and worse. Hi, come here. Come here. So unfortunately, I don't think that's something that's going to go away, especially as there's more and more urban growth and horses are just bumping up against people who don't know anything about them or have any education in that area. More and more and more, it seems to be happening. And, the world's just kind of a rough place. So that's a reality, but that is something that we can sort of mitigate the risks, right? So there are a lot of security options, gates with locks, padlocks that can't be broken, chains, number codes on doors, keys on doors, locked up tack lockers, cameras on the premises, good guard dogs. This one farm I worked at had these ex-police dogs as their guard dogs, and they would just patrol all night, and like they had some fun, those dogs, I think. So but if you are somebody out there who's watching this that's not a horse person, just please be aware that those horses are worth money to somebody. They're worth a lot of emotion to somebody, and they're not yours. So don't touch, don't feed unless you have permission. Don't go on somebody's property. We don't know who you are. So just ask, just communicate, be respectful, and then just honor the people and their wishes. So yes, somebody nice might let you come pet their horse, but somebody else might say no, and they have the right to do that. So yes, that's a really hard part of this life, but it can be easier if we make it easier. As kind of an offshoot of that same note, toxic people. The horse industry is really bad for toxic people, bullying, verbal abuse, being mean to newcomers, being judgmental, having just a lot of mean girl behavior. And it seems to be in all areas: Western, English, recreational riders, people who are at the high levels, people at the low levels. And it's been like that for a really, really long time. But I also have to say that at my jobs at the stables, often the majority of the people were mostly good. And there were some really great people. And it just seemed to be like the meanest ones were also the loudest. They take up the most space, they take up the most time. But really, it's just often like the odd person who is really the problem. If you're in a bad, stable environment, it might be more people, but I promise you there are a lot of really good people out there. I have also had jobs where the people really, truly cared about the horses and were really nice people. I also have a great farrier. I have some great vets. I have some really good horse friends. And I really, really hope that we can have more of that. If you're at a stable, please go out of your way to welcome a beginner. It's always just really unnecessary for us to be commenting on other people's horses, commenting on their tack, commenting on what they choose to do. Like, there are so many different areas of the horse industry that use different tack, different bits. There's very much not one right way. The only wrong way is when the horse is getting injured or the human is getting injured or upset. Everything else is pretty much like fair game. And can we just relax and stop policing everything? If you're at a boarding stable or a lesson stable, please go out of your way to be nice to the new people. And if you're new, please take a stance of humility. A lot of new people get themselves into trouble because they want to pretend like they know everything. And just be a student, enjoy learning. And that's for all of us. Horsemanship is a lifelong journey. Being a good rider is a lifelong journey. None of us are ever done. So just take some humility, take some kindness, take some generosity. Let's just be good people in this industry. Number 6 on my list is the work. The constant work that you never finish, it never goes away. Just when you think you made progress, you didn't. And sometimes it can get very overwhelming. It can feel like a lot. It can feel like you'll never get to kind of the dream barn you wanted. Even the richest barns I worked at had like piles of junk in the back that they never got to clean up. Like, it's just, it never ends. I do have to say, I'm kind of one of those weird people that loves work. I love a project. I love to use my brain to work with my hands and to make something that I can then see. I like to build a fence that I can then see, look, I did that, and that I can use. And those are the best days when you have that instant gratification. It's the days when things are going worse than you thought, or they're more broken than you thought, or they're going to cost more money than you thought. That's when it gets hard. For me, I really try to prioritize my tasks. I go with what is an emergency, what needs to be fixed right now. So that could be a down fence, that could be there's something wrong with one of the horses, that could be my vehicle is undrivable. Those things need to be fixed and dealt with right now. But then, some like bigger projects, like building a new riding arena or doing a good clean of all my tack, reorganizing my tack room. Those are things that are lower on the list. And some days, whether it's between I have 2 hours, I could go riding or I could do my projects, I'm going to choose to go riding. I have a lot of rainy days, snowy days where I can do those other projects. So for me, I take advantage of the good weather when I can. I deal with the emergencies, the red light, you have to deal with this now stuff. And then I really try to do a balance of enjoying my horses and doing the work, because if I'm not enjoying them, then what am I even doing all this for? I think if you are getting burnt out, if you're starting to resent the horses, if you're in the industry working and you're starting to be very grumpy and your job is taking away your joy, it really can burn you out. So if you notice that is happening, you can take a step back. It is okay. Or if you notice that you own your own horses and you are burning out that way, try to make changes before it gets to that point where you just hate all of it. Instead of feeding hay every day, can you put out a round bale? Instead of keeping 5 horses, could you keep 3 horses? It's better to do those small changes to make it more manageable for yourself before you get to the point of wanting to throw everything away and burn it all down. My last point, number 7, is the weather. To me, that is easily on my top list of hardest things about being in the horse industry and being a horse owner. Look at this sky. It was raining a bunch earlier today. Before that, it rained for a few full days. Before that, it was plus 35 for 4 days, 5 days. And before that, it was snowing on May long weekend. And all my points right now, I've had some sort of upside or advice, and I just don't have anything for the weather. I guess the minus 40 kills the bugs. Like, on that note, though, I worked with a few vets from Mexico and Brazil and other hot countries, and they do have like fungi and bugs and diseases and stuff that we just don't get because our winters are so cold and so harsh. So that's my small bright side. I don't know what other bright side there is. That's it for today's video. It had about as many highs. Oh, Sandy, be in the video with me. It had some emotional highs and lows, kind of like my week. Oh, okay. I hope that you left this video feeling a bit encouraged, maybe a few things to think about. And I know I am personally going to try to stop worrying about things that are not currently happening and may never actually happen. And at the same time, though, maybe make a few slight strategic adjustments. I hope that wherever you are, the weather is better for you than it is here. And I hope you get a chance to go outside and enjoy that. I'll see you next time. Bye. Horse ownership. Oh, get away from my mic. Okay. Hey, Russell. Oh, is she gonna stay? No, she's gonna leave. You look giant.